Inclusive pedagogy is an approach that aims to make learning as accessible and welcoming to as many students as possible. Yale University describes inclusive pedagogy as pedagogy that strives to serve the needs of all students, regardless of background or identity, and support their engagement with subject material. Not only does inclusive pedagogy target the context of racial, gender, cultural, and socioeconomic diversity, but it also is used in the context of including differently abled or special needs learners. Inclusive pedagogy refers to the ways that courses, classroom activities, curricula, and assessments consider issues of diversity in an effort to engage all students in learning that is meaningful, relevant, and accessible. Inclusive pedagogy is important for a number of reasons. One is that it helps students overcome barriers to learning. It can also enrich the classroom experience for students by giving them access to a broader set of perspectives. It also offers multiple means for students to access and demonstrate mastery of course content, as well as multiple means for them to engage in and contribute to our classes. Inclusive pedagogy also creates a wide range of opportunities for students to connect their prior knowledge and experiences to new learning. It also allows students to respond positively to the opportunity to express their knowledge in diverse ways. These 7 principles for inclusive education builds inclusive and respectful classrooms through a foundation or fundamental principles and expectations. These are the 7 principles for inclusive learning. We will look at each of these individually and see how we can incorporate them into our classrooms. Principle 1 looks at teaching all students. Students learn in different ways. It is therefore important to develop the skills to teach in different ways. For example, some students learn best when introduced to information visually, while others learn best through hearing information, working in groups, or activity-based projects. By using several different approaches to the same material within the same lesson or activity, information can become more interesting and tangible for a greater number of students. Principle 2 looks at exploring multiple identities. Students who are excited about themselves and other people and who are inquisitive about the world around them will more easily learn to be compassionate and understanding of people who are different from them. They are less likely to hold negative feelings about others if they are comfortable with themselves and also with those who are different. Principle 3 looks at preventing prejudice. When educators proactively model how to debunk preconceived stereotypes, students see each other with curiosity and respect. All of us are influenced by the legacy of institutionalized inequalities that permeate history, as well as the stereotyped ideas and images we encounter every day. The best way for an educator to address preconceived stereotypes and to prevent them from escalating into feelings of prejudice and bias is to create awareness. This can be done by discussing student stereotypes in both large and small groups. Principle 4 looks at promoting social justice. Students know what is fair, but may not know what is equitable. Educators should explore issues of social justice, equity, and access with students. Get students involved in taking social justice issues into their own hands. Service opportunities can help students feel empowered to address issues of inequity in their own communities. Help students develop concrete projects that are achievable and relevant in their own communities. Principle 5 is choosing appropriate material. Inclusive classrooms use books and materials that reflect accurate images of diverse peoples and challenge stereotypes. It is important to choose books and materials that reflect accurate images of diverse peoples. Books, magazines, movies, web-based medias, and handouts can be guides for behavior and ideas, but they also have the potential to perpetuate some stereotypes. Read over all materials you are planning to use with students and decide if they promote a positive and appropriate image of peoples and themes. Principle 6 looks at teaching and learning about cultures and religions. Educators can build curiosity and expand students' horizons by teaching about diverse traditions and allowing students to learn from their peers. It is important that students learn about other cultures and religions in a positive and comfortable manner. This includes learning about the cultural and religious difference among their peers, as well as other cultures and religions that are more remote from their experiences. Help students see a range of nuanced views and make connections within and between cultures. Society and culture are constantly changing. Languages, religions, rituals, traditions, and ways of knowing change over time. People often appear very different now from how they have appeared in the past. It is important for students to recognize the evolving nature of and the accuracies of previously assumed images. Principle 7 looks at adapting and integrating lessons appropriately. Educators should be flexible when using curricula. Many of our most teachable moments are unplanned and unscripted. Often, pre-designed lessons are a good starting point for dialogues or critical thinking that can often lead to further and deeper conversation. Provide meaningful opportunities for students to present their beliefs and traditions based on their own readiness and willingness to share them. This is very important so that you can make connections throughout the various lessons to their personal experiences. Incorporating all 7 of these principles will allow your classroom to be more inclusive. These are some steps that you can incorporate into your teaching now. You can begin by understanding different dimensions of diversity. Teach in a way that recognizes differences in students' backgrounds and intentionally engages the range of their experiences. Survey students before the semester to ask them about any circumstances that might shape or challenge their ability to succeed in the course. You can also promote a sense of belonging, fostering a welcoming and inclusive environment where students are challenged and supported, treated fairly, and valued for their contributions. Create opportunities for students to share and demonstrate their prior knowledge and experiences to you and peers, so these can be explicitly valued additions to class discussions and assignments. You can create an inclusive syllabus. Promote success and inclusion for all students by clearly stating your expectations for learning and including course materials from multiple perspectives. Include a statement about accessibility in your syllabus and consider inviting students to speak with you about undocumented disabilities and other relevant circumstances. Incorporate active learning activities. Purposefully select learning experiences that engage students' prior knowledge and encourage them to interact with you, the content, and each other. Alternate between modes of teaching and learning, such as group work, project-based or problem-based learning, presentations, audio and visual materials, recordings, and lectures. Offer varied avenues for contributing to class, such as written responses, class discussions, small group discussions, video blogs, and other domains. Lastly, engage in critical assessment. Regularly ask yourself about course learning goals and your ability to help students meet them. Also think about your own biases and consider their possible impact on the classroom. Design assessments with varied formats, such as written, oral, tests, papers, podcasts, or let students choose the format. Incorporating the 7 principles for inclusive pedagogy and steps to incorporate inclusive pedagogy into your classroom will make learning for students more accessible for all learners.